2023 cars ready to roll here this afternoon.
The clock is ticking. Those drivers' hearts are pounding out of their chest. You got to focus so hard, and you got to concentrate so hard. They are really nervous down here. There's a lot going on in that head.
Do the Packers play today?
I am so cool. These sunglasses make me look sexy.
This hat's pimp. Does this fire suit make me look fat?
Man, your hand is sweaty.
Oh, you nasty. I'm the sheriff in this here town.
Nice fire suit, jerk.
Hello, TV land. Where's Venturini at? Wonder if Spencer's bad-mouthing me again. Man, you know what? Kenny's a little weird.
Spencer is one ugly chick, man.
I don't know how JR puts up with those two.
Maybe if I stand here, nobody will notice me.
I'm number 2.
It's so early, I didn't even have time to shave.
What's this guy's name again? The rabbit comes out of the hole, goes around the tree, and back through the hole. Who is this guy?
Dude, I am so gonna wreck you.
Hey, where'd that camera come from?
I cannot believe that you're still talking.
Man, I should have gone to the bathroom. How do you go to the bathroom in these things? Hope I can hold it.
Man, those jets are loud today.
Watch the head, Newman. Bye, Napa.
This helmet's really tight. Thing to remember, don't turn right.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Gotta find a TV. I think the show is about to start. NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot is next on Speed.
Nestled in the heart of Michigan's Irish Hills, the Michigan International Speedway boasts a 40-year tradition of NASCAR racing. With 2 miles of pavement and 73 feet of room in the turns, it's a driver favorite and a key to the championship chase. These races are never over until the checkered flag waves. It looked like Jimmy Johnson's last time, then perhaps Greg Biffle. But in the end, it was Mark Martin who prevailed after a day-long chess match. Tony Stewart will clinch a chase spot today after his performance on the road course at Watkins Glen. But that's not all that's on Smoke's mind today. Another win equals another 10 bonus points for anyone in the chase. Let's take a look at those top 5 right off the bat. And these guys are pretty much, for all intents and purposes, locked into the chase. It's Tony Stewart, Johnson, Gordon, Kurt Busch, and Denny Hamlin. But for the rest of the story, let's get our Shell Garage report, starting out with Wendy Venturini.
Good morning, Johnny. Yes, our points leader, Tony Stewart, leaves Watkins Glen on that Monday race with another win. And what does that mean? More bonus points for Tony Stewart. The objective remains the same, but as we get closer to that chase cutoff, he knows the task at hand has to be to win races. 10 points, 10 points, 10 points for Tony Stewart. But if you look on back from 6th to 13th, that's really where the battle's heating up. Carl Edwards, Roush Fenway Racing, looking for a win at Michigan today, has been winless this season so far. You continue down, Juan Pablo, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, Mark Martin, all will join us on NASCAR race day. But if we look at some of those guys with Carl Edwards, the defending race winner here at Michigan, has been winless this season. He qualified 32nd for today's race and was 14th in happy hour. Carl Edwards wants to get a victory and add some 10 bonus points to his chase seating when we cut off in 4 races. Now, the 9 of Casey Kane had an engine failure on Friday, so they did have to change engines, and we'll start from the rear of the field. Right now, 8th in points. He lost 63 points after Watkins Glen on Monday. He cannot afford a bad race right now. He was 22nd in happy hour yesterday. Now, if you look at that 12th spot, Matt Kenseth, he struggled this 2009 season since his 2 wins at the beginning of the season. But Matt Kenseth, he handles the pressure well. He has been on or around that bubble in almost every chase battle, and he has never lost that chase battle. Matt Kenseth is probably a sure bet to stay in the top 12. But the guy right now in 13th, Kyle Busch, everybody's looking for him. It's going to be a tough one for him today as he starts 39th. Hermie?
You're right, Wendy, and to me, where this thing really gets exciting is 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. Kyle Busch, Brian Vickers, Clint Boyer, David Rudiman. Now, Kyle Busch is 58 points out of 12th. Brian Vickers, 96 out. Clint Boyer, 99 out. David Rudiman, 155 out. Now, Kyle Busch and Brian Vickers had a disagreement on pit road yesterday after the nationwide race. You hear more about that from JR coming up later in the show. Now, Kyle Busch qualified 39th, and this racetrack of the 4 remaining before the chase is statistically his worst racetrack. Now, I talked to Steve Addington earlier today. They've got a decent car, but he is worried about his track position. He needs a good, solid top 10 run today to make up some points. Brian Vickers got his 6th pole of the season. He leads the series in poles, and he's led 83 laps here, but the garage will tell you it's time for Brian Vickers to seal the deal, win a race, and validate himself as a serious chase contender. Clint Boyer, 99 points out. He qualified 23rd, only one top 10 here. But every available resource from RCR is going towards helping get Clint Boyer into this chase. Now, the guy who's in a little bit of trouble is David Rudiman. He's 155 out. You can only gain 161 in a race, so he's real close to being over one race out of this chase. Rodney Childress said their car is decent but not great. He qualified 31st. He could be in some trouble. And JR, later today, you don't want to miss it, everybody here on race day has got to come out and make their picks. Who will be in and who will be out. You don't want to miss it.
Hermie, thanks a lot. It is time now to welcome some of the best fans in all of NASCAR, the ones who have come to us from Detroit, the Motor City, and also along with all these great race fans, we of course have senior excitement, Jimmy Spencer, and driver number 28, Kenny Wallace. And guys, this is always such a great crowd. It's going to be a great day for racing, and you know what? It's such a driver's racetrack because people can go anywhere they want.
Well, that's the story, Johnny, but it's awesome to see this many fans come out and support NASCAR racing. Thanks, fans, baby. You are awesome. But you know what I got to talk about? Last week, Newman, he lost 65 points. How about Mark Martin? He lost 71 points. How about Matt Kenseth? He lost 44. That happens today. They're outside this top 12. They did not make the chase.
Man, I'm telling you what. First of all, I got to say, I mean, Kid Rock, Detroit, Motor City, here we are.
You know it, baby.
I mean, all you got to say is Kid Rock. And Kid Rock likes Tony Stewart. I just had to pay, what is it? I had to pay respect to Detroit. Sorry about that, race fans. Here's what I'm saying about this racetrack. I think this is the last sane track where you can race normally. Last week it was road course. All these things that could go wrong. Next week is Bristol. But listen, race fans, I say this track is sane. There's lots of grooves. And then look what happened the last time we were here. We thought Jimmy Johnson, we thought Greg Biffle was going to win it. 2 to go, they run out of gas. So I don't know about Michigan being a sane racetrack. You got Kyle Busch, Brian Vickers breathing down Mark Martin and Matt Kenseth's throat. It's going to be a barn burner all the way to Richmond, and I got goosebumps.
All right, if you don't have goosebumps now, we're going to give you some goosebumps because sanity went completely out the window at yesterday's Nationwide Series race on the closing couple of laps. Take a look at this battle between some of the best in the business. The number 32 is Brian Vickers. He is being chased by Kyle Busch, but here comes Brad Keselowski in the number 88. Goes to the high side. Brian Vickers was loose as he possibly could be. He runs Kyle Busch down to the apron, and guys, here we go for one heck of a white flag lap.
Well, the big thing here, Johnny, is that the 32 car was so focused on beating the 18, he forgot the 88 was there. And you know what? Keselowski, as far as I'm concerned, does a great job, and he wins the race.
And here's where the extracurricular activities started up. While hometown hero Brad Keselowski was celebrating in victory lane, there were a couple of guys hot under the collar afterwards. Kyle Busch and Brian Vickers exchanged words while Keselowski celebrated the victory.
It was stupid racing. I mean, the 32 was on my right rear quarter panel all the way down the front straightaway, basically giving the win to the 88. I mean, it's all cool for the junior fans and everything, but it's pretty frustrating when you got idiots out there racing. He races me like that every week, and I'm just, man, it's so frustrating that you can't have a guy race you clean. You know, he just gave the win to the 88 cars, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, Kyle was crying like a little girl after the race. He come up and he was whining because I was racing him so hard. I don't know. I mean, I thought this was racing. I thought this was what we were supposed to do. But, you know, we raced fine the whole race. You know, I called him. He let me go. And he called me, and I let him go. And then the race, we're racing for the win, and he's crying about it. I don't know what he wants.
Now, we're not insinuating anything by having A, Kenny Wallace jump up and down, and B, going to Jimmy Spencer on this subject. But, Jimmy, was it dirty driving or was it clean?
Well, Vickers was trying to win the race, but he can't close the deal. Brian Vickers just does have a problem winning races. And I don't understand it, but he was so focused on blocking Kyle Busch that he ends up costing himself a shot at winning. You know, if he just goes and says, you know what, I got to win this race, hell with Kyle Busch, but he doesn't. He's so intent on beating Kyle Busch, he loses the race. In my opinion, the guy's got to learn how to close a deal. He couldn't close it again yesterday, Ken.
But here's what I say, Jimmy Spencer. It's been a long time since these race fans have deserved a rivalry. We need these two to argue. We need them to wreck each other. We need to go to Bristol. Oh, look at this. Hey, Spence.
Yeah, we are going to Bristol next week.
I got to say one last thing, race fans. Love him or hate him, He is Mr. Excitement, and we do miss Jimmy Spencer in a race car, and I'm going to tell you why.
Park him.
Because Jimmy Spencer never forgets, and he will wreck you. And that's what we miss, and we need these two to go at it at Bristol next week. Here it's too dangerous. You might hurt yourself.
You're trying to teach him a lesson, Kenny,
yeah.
that's all.
And you teach Kurt Busch a lesson.
He's a lot better.
And let's not forget, we still have 400 miles this afternoon before we get to Bristol to go here at the Michigan International Speedway. And who knows what will happen at the end of this thing. Don't leave until it's over. We got a full edition of NASCAR Race Day coming your way.
We'll let the boys continue their nonsense before the kid, the beard, and more drop by to chat. While Wendy and Hermie walk the garage to get the 411. Your one-stop shop for information rolls on. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. Visit homedepot.com. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Brought to you in part by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. And by NASCAR Banking, only from Bank of America. Your debit card, your credit card, your driver. Learn more at a Bank of America Banking Center today.
Welcome back to Michigan, everyone. They call it NASCAR in a national park because of all the beautiful scenery in the Irish Hills area. And, well, I say beautiful scenery, and then they show that. Okay. Well, we're a little out of sync so far, but you know what's in sync right now is Stewart Haas Racing. Ryan Newman is the right hook in the 1-2 punch of that race team right now. He is solidly in championship contention as of right now, but is still winless this season. Let's go to Hermie Sadler, who is standing by with the Rocket Man.
Thank you, JR. Ryan, I got to ask a question about points. You have 42 points ahead in that. When you approach this race, do you think about points at all and the guys around you, or you just take care of business and let it end up where it is?
Every race, every time we think about points, whether it's Daytona or Homestead. I mean, you're trying to do your best, and your points are just like your finishes. So basically, you're trying to go for the best finish, and you got to use your head. I mean, there's some risk versus reward in there as well, but and that's part of strategy. But you know, we're in a position where we have to do the right thing for the points in respect to the other competition, making it in the chase with the U.S. Army Haas Automation Chevrolet.
Now, you've won 2 races here, but this race can come down to so many different factors: a fast car, fuel mileage. When you get to the racetrack on Friday, do you start planning a strategy for how you're going to attack the race on Friday, or I mean, how do you decide, you know, how you're going to approach getting the best finish?
Well, you just kind of have to see how fast your car is. If your car is fast, then you have that specific strategy. If your car is not fast, then you play a different fuel mileage strategy or a 2-tire strategy and things like that. So it. You know, after Saturday's practice, you got a good idea of what parameters you had to work with, and it's up to the team and the crew chief and everybody else to you know, get the best finish you possibly can with what you have to work with. It's all about capitalizing with what you brought to the racetrack.
All right, we got 4 races left. Of the 4 that are ahead of us, any race concern you more than the other, or do you feel like you've got to get out of here with a certain amount of cushion, or what are you looking at as far as the next 4 tracks?
We're just here to race. I mean, I'll do my best each and every lap, and where we end up is where we end up. I've said that before, I'll say it again, and you can't points race. I mean, you can put yourself in a position where you can have a better guarantee points racing, but you can't points race and be, you know, productive, I feel, in respect to trying to win the race.
And JR, Ryan Newman has won a lot of races. You know he wants to win a race this year before he gets in the chase, and Michigan will be a good place to do that. Calls pretty good in happy hour.
All right, Hermie, thanks a lot. He's a 2-time winner here at this racetrack. Ryan Newman is. If you want to see more Newman tonight, tune in to Wind Tunnel with Dave Despain. He's going to ask Newman about going for the 4-peat at Bristol. And let's talk about this Stewart Haas racing team right now. Guys, of course, no one said at the beginning of the season that Tony Stewart will be walking away with the points lead right now. They talked about growing pains. Well, how do the growing pains right now affect Newman, the number 39 team? They're still in championship contention.
Well, first of all, I got to give Ryan Newman and Tony Gibson, his crew chief, an A. Not an A+, but an A, and I'll tell you why. Because they truly are a new team. Tony Gibson, he came from DEI, came over, they merged these guys, and they got themselves in the hunt for the championship. This is big. Now, Tony Stewart, you know, Darian Grubb, they're teammates. You know, I expected them to really come out of the box just because I think that's a more explosive combination. But Ryan Newman, Tony Gibson are doing a good job, but I am worried about them. I'm not saying that, you know, they're going to fall out of the chase, but I am worried about them. Spence, you know, I think right now, I hope we don't have to judge them on these last 4 races because they've done a great job.
Well, I do, but I think you do have to judge them on these last 4 races, Kenny, because, you know, if they get in, it's because of this they put themselves in this position. But the key here, you heard Newman say that it's very important. They think about points from the start of the season because it's all based on the championship. Who would ever think, Johnny, you said it, that Tony Stewart would be leading this chase? You know, now he's in. He's locked in. He's trying to get all the wins he can, but yet his other team hasn't. I don't believe, in my heart, in my opinion, that the combination of Gibson and Newman are as good as it needs to be. I think that they're going to falter here in the next 3 or 4 races, and I think they're going to miss this chase.
But even if they do, though, they still exceed expectations, no doubt about that. A little later on in the show, we're going to talk about who else may fall out of the chase, again, in just the humble opinions of our staff members here. But when we come back, we're going to talk about Brad Keselowski's golf game. Yes, who is going to help Brad Keselowski with his golf game? You won't want to miss it. Welcome back to Race Day, everyone. Michigander Brad Keselowski saw a dream come true yesterday by winning in front of his hometown crowd. He's back in the Cup race today, but to many others, just the dream of hanging out with a GoDaddy.com girl is enough.
So now this is your first time ever to the driving range?
Yes, exactly.
Ever. Now let's see your grip before you even hit anything. Let's do a practice swing.
Practice swing?
Let's move back from the ball. Let's see what you've got here.
So like that? No? All right, I'm taking it. That's a no.
Okay, so with golf, you want to have one hand on like that. So I'd go back and then through.
Oh.
Let's put our hands out a little more, not so like in here. Now you don't want to strangle the golf club either. Oh. As you hit it, you just let your head follow. Aim left, but swing out to the right. Good. Okay.
That feels good to me right there.
All right. Good. Almost. Nice. There you go. Nice. Now that's a golf swing.
Ooh. Oh, whoa, look at that.
See, past the yellow flag.
You see how far that went? Really? I hope you got that on film. Where'd that one go? Anna, you're going to have to show me how to do this.
I would be happy to. Now that's my kind of driving. How about showing me yours?
So Anna, now that you showed me your kind of driving, I'm going to show you my kind of driving. But first, you're going to need one of these GoDaddy.com fire suits.
Very cool.
Wow, you make that uniform look good.
Thank you.
Let me help you out and get it all the way on. Are you ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies first.
All right.
Gas pedal's on the right, brake pedal's on the left.
All right.
Let's go.
All right.
Well, what do you think?
The brakes on right there.
You don't need the brake pedal to go fast.
And I think the only thing Brad was good at in that feature was putting the fire suit on Anna, who is an LPGA golfer. Brad, I say you stick to the race car driving, obviously from yesterday's win, 2 nationwide wins in the last 3 races. Congratulations on that, especially on your home turf.
Thank you, man. It meant so much to win here yesterday, and so now I just want to go do it again today, and I think we've got another great GoDaddy.com Chevrolet. This car here I actually felt was better. So, you know, to qualify, I think we qualified 12th with this car, and I'm not a very good qualifier, so that just shows how strong it is, and I'm really looking forward to racing today.
All right, before we get to today's car, I'll be blasted with emails if I don't ask you to comment on yesterday's finish, because you just reaped from the rewards of all the battle that happened in your mirror.
Well, I mean, all you can do is put yourself in position. And, you know, the two were racing each other hard, and, you know, they just bobbled the slightest bit, and I was just ready to pounce on them. And thankfully, we had a good enough car where we could be in position, and, you know, they raced each other just the way I needed them to win.
Now, when you look at today's start, your 10th Cup start today, you already have one win under your belt. Get that out of the way. So in front of your hometown crowd again, to make it 2 wins in a row today, that would be truly an amazing dream for you.
It sure would. And, you know, just to win 2 races in a row would be an accomplishment. But, you know, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I know I've got a good car and just need to focus on the day and get as much as I can out of it.
All right, what can you tell us about 2010 and plans for you on Mr. Brad Keselowski? Is there any room at the inn on the Cup side?
Well, I think the biggest thing I can tell you is that whatever I do, it's going to be a good deal, and I'm going to be excited about it, and I'm going to be able to win. And whatever program gets put together, it'll be, you know, with that in mind. And I'm not there yet. You know, another month or 2, I might know.
Well, there you have it. Words straight from Brad Keselowski. Maybe in a month or 2, we'll be breaking the news right here on Race Day. Brad Keselowski will start 12th today. Johnny?
Wendy, thanks a lot. That's a heck of a qualifying effort and great win for him yesterday. Now, when's the last time, guys, we talked about a guy who had won recently on the Cup Series, yet we weren't too sure if or where he was going to drive the following year?
Well, I think we're in an environment where just because you win doesn't mean you're going to have a good Cup ride. So right now with the economy, we all know that Brad Keselowski is deserving of a good Cup ride. He qualified 12th for this race. I expect him to land a ride, Jimmy Spencer, but here's what I think. I think it's going to depend on what kind of sponsor they can put together. I say GoDaddy.com gives Rick Hendricks $10 to $12 million.
That's not enough.
That's easy for you to say.
How much do we need, Spence, to get him in a Cup car?
Not enough.
How much do we need?
16?
Rick Hendrick can't start another team. Let's face it. He's got 4. He's very happy with the 4 drivers he has, so he can't start another team. He has to find somewhere else.
Where do you think he goes, if anywhere?
Well, you don't go to Tony Stewart. And the reason why I don't think Tony Stewart has got his whole organization where he wants to be, Kenny, and I guess my point is that I don't believe the 39 is anywhere near where Kenny, where Tony and Mr. Haas wants it to be. So I don't believe Tony right now is worried about starting the 13. I think Tony's going to stay concentrating on trying to win this chase, and then build and build and build. And Tony will have 4 teams eventually, Johnny.
Well, whatever happens to Brad Keselowski, he's already a winner in NASCAR's 2 top series, and that's nothing to sneeze at, if you will. We're going to take another quick break here on NASCAR Race Day. When we come back, a couple of Gregs for you who had a chance to win this race last time we were here. Be sure to catch This Week in NASCAR Monday. The gang will dive into the best scanner conversations from the Michigan race in the Radioactive feature. Will it be another fuel mileage thriller? Experience things from the race you don't hear or see anywhere else on This Week in NASCAR Monday at 8 Eastern, only on Speed. Now, not even the Cashfler Clunkers program could help out Greg Biffle's gas mileage last time we raced here, because he had to battle Jimmy Johnson, and Mark Martin was there to take advantage. This is one of Roush Fenway Racing's best track, so we could see the Biff up front again today. For more on that, let's go to Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, JR. Before we get to racing, Greg is sitting here giving me a speech lesson on how we're supposed to say things in Emporia. Can you put a whole sentence together?
I used to could, but I can't anymore.
No more.
No more.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's pretty good. He was teasing me about the way I talk, but that's all right. Hey, before we talk about this week, last week for you guys to get a top finish at Watkins Glen, if you look at the races coming up, that had to be one you wanted to get behind you. A great job on the top 5 last week.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, we qualified well, kept our track position, and, you know, that's really what we did all day. Great job in the pits, and, you know, we made all the right decisions. The cautions felt right for us, so, you know, just had a real good non-eventful race, and hopefully do that here today. You know, didn't qualify quite as good, but we always qualified, it seems like around 20th here, and run very well, so we're hoping that happens today.
You got a 33-point cushion. I know you hate to talk about points all the time, but what have you got to get out of here with today to feel good about it?
Well, I think that, you know, anything can happen today. I think a top 10 today will be important, very important, but certainly we're targeting the top 5. You know, we want to finish on, you know, top 5 spots, but I think a top 10 will keep us safe, move us on to the next race, but really to gain, I think, a top 5.
And this race always comes down to strategy. It seems like crew chief Greg Irwin, and a lot of fans don't understand you can't just middle of a race or middle of a run, tell Greg, hey, we're going to save fuel. That starts back at the shop. How do you approach this race as a crew chief? Do you try to focus on your speed or focus on your strategy ahead of time, or you just have to adjust that during the course of the race?
This race may be a little bit different than some of the other mile and a halves. We look to have a car that'll run pretty good on 10 or 15 lap tires. Lots of room to move around here, several lanes, and he's proven in the past that we can start 20th. We can start 15th, and we can take care of our tires, pick the right line, do our job on pit road, and drive up into the top 5. And we've done it multiple times here the last couple of years.
You guys gambled a little bit back in June, came up a little bit short. As we get closer to the chase, as a crew chief, does it make it more difficult to do those kind of gambles with 4 races to go than it was back in June?
Probably does. Probably does. We thought we were within a half a lap of making it there at the end of the race. So with the thing running out somewhere on the last half a lap, we stood to lose 8 or 10 spots. You don't want to be finishing 20th or the last car on the lead lap here. Anytime you get within 1 lap or a half a lap of making it, and especially when you're in contention for the win, it makes it that much harder to pedal the car. So, I would suspect if we're in the same position again today, within a half a lap, we're gonna go for the win, because that's what we need with our Scotch Tough car today.
Well, JR, you got it from both the Gregs. These guys want to win, but they're also very wary of where they are in the points, and no need to get out here with a good, solid top 5 or top 10.
And if any place Hermie should make these guys feel at home, as we mentioned before, this Roush Fenway Racing team does very well right down the road from Livonia, Michigan. Take a look at the numbers for Roush Fenway. 11 Sprint Cup wins, tied with the Wood brothers, and they won 5 of the last 10 Cup races.
And what's interesting, Ford leads the big edge here. 31 of 80 races, 39% win. So Roush, all them Fords is pretty tough, man.
And this is very impressive number right here. 11 wins have happened with 5 different drivers, and one of those 5 different drivers was Carl Edwards in this race last year.
There's no question a main theme of the day today will be the race to the chase. Drivers fighting for those precious spots in NASCAR's version of the playoffs.
As a fan, you get to sit back and watch these cats spread out 3, 4, sometimes 5 wide.
All right, Rod, we know you'll give 110%. We'll give 110% in here and work on it all day for you.
Fans on their feet, glad to have you with us as the green flag waves at Michigan.
Something's not agreeing with this 88 car right now. That's first to third in a lap and a half. The car wiggling around a lot.
I got a big problem. The 88 is obviously the fastest car we got up front, but the 99 is really the one that's coming fast. Yeah, it's just got to be a little bit tighter, Bob, especially on the throttle, just a little bit, and it'll go way faster. Good, Bob, we'll fix you up.
The 99 car, Edwards, who started back in 27 spots.
Check out Edwards. He had a good corner right there.
More consistent loose entry to exit, but I still have it all the way through the turn.
Try to keep those guys up there, but we don't want to get too many ahead of us, otherwise we'll be in bigger trouble than we could imagine.
There is no give up in me. I'm just telling you what this thing's doing.
We're very cranky this weekend.
I'm being bitched at every 5 seconds, so sideways.
Looks like you're clean there. Just give it a little time. Try to get her cool back on. 2 loose. And 4. Y'all need to get on that, brother. Serious, man. It's like damn pros, man.
And here comes guess who again? Kyle Busch. That would be for 4th position.
Think I'll hold up, wait for Kyle to play around with him a little bit.
We'll do that and end up wrecking each other, and that's the last thing we need to do.
4190 to his 4280. Set of tires sucks.
Alright, bud, just ride this out. I know it's loose. I saw that save on TV.
The last half of the race, these have been the 2 best cars.
And Edward just pulls away. And for the second time in 2008, a driver sweeps both events. Carl Edwards will win it Saturday and Sunday at Michigan.
Good job, buddy. Awesome day, boys. Awesome job, Carl.
Now, Carl Edwards starts back in the pack today, but if anybody can make it up through the field, it is Carl. Now, there's one guy who has a chance to pull off a season sweep, and we'll talk to him when NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, rolls on. There are many reasons why we love the race fans at Michigan. First of all, they come out in droves to see our show, and also they help Jimmy Spencer out with some M&Ms. So we use the fans to help Rutledge and company find the most colorful fan in NASCAR for M&Ms.
You know, Detroit's got their own dream cruise, but here at the track, Left Turn Lindsay found a dream cruise all your own.
That's right. Well, here at MIS, they don't allow golf carts in the infield. So we found some crazy innovative rides right here.
And these are clearly the most colorful fans. Starting out, you got a four-wheeler, two-peddler with a trailer in the back. Now that's all custom. Right next door, you've got a three-wheel with a wheelie bar. It does real wheelies. Now this crazy thing looks like a Harley that the motor fell off of, running one of Matt Kenseth's old Cup tires. Right next door, you have the pedal style. It looks like a little boat that you would have paddled in. It's not, it's real. You got an old school cruiser. Now next door to that, you have this crazy thing that looks like it should be a truck, a car, who knows what. It's all driven by hand crank, and they clearly have a lot of fun. But this one might be my favorite. This is a double bike that really shows how colorful these fans are. Here we go. Enjoy!
We knew Rutledge still needed training wheels. For those of you who couldn't make it to Michigan, make sure you register at NASCAR.com/mostcolorfulfan for your chance to be M&M's Most Colorful Fan of NASCAR winner. On the site, you can vote for your favorites, play the instant win game, and upload your own colorful photos for a chance to win a trip to the final race of the season at Homestead, Miami, where M&M's will crown the most colorful fan of NASCAR. So what's the latest news from the garage? We got it for you on NASCAR Race Day when we come back. Here's a bit of advice for you if you got a ticket to today's race. Don't leave until it's over. It looked like this one was going to be won by Greg Biffle last year. He ran out of gas. Mark Martin took advantage of that on the white flag lap and came around again as a 50-year-old driver to revisit victory lane once again because he conserved fuel the whole way around. Now here is the big question. Can Mark Martin sweep the season here at Michigan and hold off another charging crowd for yet another win here at this racetrack? And for that answer, let's go to Wendy Venturini.
Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, Mark wasn't the only one to win here in the spring. 10 bonus points for me. So, Mark Martin, what do you like about Michigan International Speedway? You've won more at this track than any other ones we visit on the circuit.
I love the big, huge, wide corners. You know, just so great for racing and always has been ever since I've been coming. It's just like a big, giant short track back home when you first got started racing.
Now, because it's so wide, so big, talk about practice yesterday. You were a little bit loose. Everybody was loose in practice. Does it make it good for those long runs, short runs, and which line? You like the high line, or are you a bottom feeder like Tony Stewart?
Oh, absolutely bottom feeder. No doubt about that. I wasn't as happy. Our car's okay, but I never really got the car. We didn't get the car the way we wanted it. But we're still, I think we're a top 5 car, and if it comes to us last race, it came to us. The longer we went into the race, the more adjustments the better we were, and we were a contender at the end. And I'm hoping that we can do the same today. I think we've got something to work with. It's just hotter and slicker than last time, and I think we're all having more trouble with our cars. And mine has been giving me some trouble that we weren't really able to ever fix. And some of the things that we tried to do to fix it made the car worse. So we're just going to go back and live with the problems that we have.
You mentioned the temps a little bit hotter than the last time we were here. You're one of the most fit guys in the garage area. How do you prepare for a track like this and for a race like this, knowing we're getting closer to that chase?
Well, Wendy, I live every day like tomorrow's the biggest race of my life. So no different preparing for this than preparing for tomorrow, you know, or any other day in my life.
How can your crew chief prepare for today when strategy comes into play? Last time we were here in the spring, it was fuel mileage. Do you take chances today, or is it about just being consistent and getting solidly in the top 12?
We need to finish how we run. That's, you know, we run good enough, and we just need to finish how we run. To take a major gamble is not really on the table for us. To play it conservative is not on the table for us. We have to race like we normally do, which is try to get what we can with what we have to work with.
And that's spoken like a true veteran. Mark Martin, who will start on the outside front row, was fastest in happy hour. He didn't mention that, and does have an 89-point lead from that 12th spot, 13th spot. Johnny?
Wendy, thanks a lot. If Mark Martin gets another victory here, it will be his 6th victory on this racetrack, so he definitely knows how to get around here. Want to bring in our good friend Hermie Sadler, the pride of Emporia, Virginia. And Hermie, we hear it from so many drivers, heard it from Newman earlier. They say they are out here just to run as hard as they can every week. But let's face it, 4 races to go to the chase, strategies are changing.
To me, you got to be aware of your surroundings. You've got to keep your eye on the guys you're racing with, because even in Mark Martin's case, Ryan Newman's case, if they win this race, but they still got 3 to go, I think you've got to race and be conscious of who's around you and what they're doing.
I think what's so important right now is that when we were here earlier, it was so early in the year everybody could gamble. Oh, you know, we still got 12 races to go to the chase. Now it's showtime. There's only 4 races left. So if you're running 5th, I agree with Mark Martin, finish 5th. Don't be running 5th and go, we're going to chance it. If you're 10th through 12th. Hermie Sadler, I agree with you. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't take big chances. Why? Because this is not the first Michigan race, Spence. It's showtime.
Well, and Mark Martin won this race last spring, and the simple reason, discipline. Mark Martin is the most disciplined driver in that garage area. He knew that if he pushed his car, he would run out of fuel, a.k.a. Jimmy Johnson and Biffle. And that's what happened. And he's disciplined. He will have a good day because of his discipline.
But let's take a look at who can gamble, who is in the position to gamble right now. Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, they're in the position they can gamble for a while.
That's why I like the guys that are up front. I mean, they're all about 10 bonus points and winning. That's all they're
Well, if Mark Martin makes this chase, he's the point leader. He goes from 11th to points first. But you know what, Kenny? Jimmy Johnson's never won here at Michigan. That's hard to believe. Should have won last time here. I wouldn't count him out today. He'll take the chances.
But let me tell you who has to gamble, not can, but has to. Kyle Busch, Brian Vickers, Clint Boyer. Why? Because they're 13th, 14th, 15th. They have nothing to lose. They have to make something happen because the guys in front of them are great teams.
And that's only more reasons to, if you're here and have a ticket, stay in your seat till the end. Or if you're watching on TV, definitely stick around to the end of this one because you just don't know what's going to happen on the final lap at Michigan. When we come back, it's the biggest thing to happen at Bristol in years. NASCAR has been coming to Michigan for 40 years, and this racetrack stands proud as the proving grounds for the manufacturers from Detroit as they come down here and put their racing programs to the test in front of hundreds of thousands of fans here at the Michigan International Speedway over the years. Now, there's been a lot of news going on in and around the garage area right now, a lot of rumors, a lot of things to sort out, and nobody better to do that than Wendy Venturini. Wendy?
Well, thanks, John. Now, last week when we were in Watkins Glen, we talked about the crew chief swapping that was happening at Richard Petty Motorsports, and it is official. The 43 of Reed Sorensen and the 44 of AJ Allmendinger have switched their crew chiefs and their crews, starting with this race here in Michigan. So that means Sammy Johns is now the crew chief right there for the 43, Reed Sorensen, and Mike Shiplett moves over to the 44 for AJ Allmendinger. Now, in other news, Dale Earnhardt Jr. addressed the media on Friday about what? Well, it's about the cars that we race here in NASCAR. And here's what Dale Jr. had to say about what NASCAR should do about these race cars.
I just think that we just, we need to be proactive all the time to try to make it better. And I think the car's really safe, and it is great characteristics about it. But we need to be looking at opportunities on what can we do to make it even better, even greater. I just remember how the other cars drove. I liked how they drove, and I like how this car is safe. But I want to be able to race it like we race the other cars. It seems like the races to me, were very poor, and we almost depended on a late caution to save the day, to make somebody race side by side for a couple laps at least within 10 laps of the finish of the race, and somehow that saved the day, and then there was no argument the next week. It'd go away, and it was very frustrating because 95% of the race wasn't worth the price of the ticket.
And there you have it. It's like when the Pope addresses the crowd. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. giving his opinion to the media on what NASCAR should do to fix these race cars in his opinion. Kenny, there's a lot to be said about that. When Dale Earnhardt Jr. speaks, NASCAR tends to listen.
Race fans, we're in a tough situation here because Dale Earnhardt Jr. is so popular. This is going to be tough for me to say, but he does control our sport. It's like saying Tiger Woods doesn't matter about golf. See, NASCAR now has to respond because this kid right here, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he sells tickets. Imagine if Dale Earnhardt Jr. repeated what he just said. I'm going to repeat what he just said. He said the races are poor and they're not worth the price of admission. He said that. So now NASCAR's got to go, oh my gosh, our most popular driver.
But here was their response, Kenny. NASCAR said right now to make a change right now would be unfair to the teams and economically unwise for the teams. It would cost too much to make a major change right now in the car.
Oh, absolutely, race fans. We cannot make a change right now. Why? Because it's not fair. These guys are right now battling for a championship. But I will say, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was right. He was the brave one. He came out. It is what the drivers are saying in the garage area. I like to repeat myself. It is what the drivers are saying in the garage area. They don't like the car.
But Junior's was just the one that said it.
Yeah, Junior's frustrated, so let's get that out there too, that he's frustrated, that he's not running good, he's not in contention. NASCAR has made some moves, the biggest one being the double file restart, shootout style, so I mean, they can make changes like that, but they, on the racetrack, but they cannot go back and make wholesale changes to the car right now. It would be, just not the right time of the year to do that.
Well, here's a basic question, Jimmy. What do you do to the car? What do they want to change?
I think there's a lot of things NASCAR can do to the car, but, they can't make the changes now. It would not be fair to the teams that are in the front. I agree with Hermie and Kenny both. Junior, that's a lot of sour grapes what he said, but yet I agree with Junior. I happen to agree that I think the cars are not able to race side by side. They need to slow them down. They need to put some change to Vickers. It doesn't cost a lot of money for NASCAR. NASCAR, open your ears up. Listen to what the drivers are saying. NASCAR, open your ears up. Listen to what the drivers are saying.
Left side weight. They need, real quick, I think these cars
low and left.
I think they need left side weight. Why? Because they're high and they roll over. So left side weight. Give them 2% more of left side weight. Make them go.
Simple things can fix this car. Simple things can make this car better. NASCAR needs to listen to these drivers and car owners, make the sport better.
Well, here's a piece of economic news that everybody will see as good. Bristol is now a sellout for the World Cup Series races coming up next Saturday night. But the action all kicks off at the world's fastest half mile on Wednesday with the Truck Series. Let's take a look at what's going to set up the setup show.
This Wednesday, on Speed, the trucks take to the high banks of Bristol. It all starts with the setup at 8, where we'll talk to the new all-time winningest crew chief in Truck Series history. We'll also get an update from reigning champion Johnny Benson about his recovery from a horrible super-modified wreck earlier this year. And see Ron Hornaday go for a historic 6th win in a row when the trucks go weeknight short track racing at the world's fastest half mile, only on Speed. Be there.
Yeah, all we got to say is Bristol, and you'll want to be there. But you know what? They left out one of the biggest news items to come out of Bristol in years, and it has to do with a certain driver that's coming out of retirement to get back behind the wheel of a race truck.
Well, Michael, the big news of the week, I'm coming back. Truck race, Wednesday night at Bristol. Any words of encouragement for me?
I just know that's big news in your mind. That's awesome.
Well, that wasn't nice.
Can you drive?
Can I drive?
Got a driver's license? Are you able to drive? It's been a while.
If there's one piece of advice, one thing I got to do to win that race Wednesday night, what would it be?
Outrun me?
No, I'm running the truck race. Wednesday night, Bristol, me.
So what?
You running the truck race? I know my brother will shoot me straight. Coming back Wednesday night, first time in a long time. Any advice you can give me about getting around Bristol Motor Speedway?
Yeah, lay off the buffets this week. I think you need to trim down a little bit.
You trying to say the first thing I need to worry about is getting in my suit?
I hadn't seen the suit, but I'm thinking if it's the same one you wore a year ago, it might look like spandex.
You used to race, really? That's pretty neat. I'll be honest, you think you're strong enough and fit enough to not fall out of the seat of Bristol?
You sound like my brother. He said the first thing I should worry about is whether I can get my uniform on. I need some encouragement.
Well, you can borrow one of mine. If yours won't fit, I promise you can borrow one of mine and it'll probably fit you.
People in the booth can have a really tremendous effect on perception. Not necessarily how I'm running, but how it looks like I'm running. So anything we can work out maybe to have you put in a couple good words for me?
Yeah, we can do a swap. I'll promote Hermie. You talk about Napa and Aaron's and Best Western and all those things.
Can you get me a list?
Yes, I have an extensive list. And if you'll scratch my back, I'll rub yours.
Jimmy Spencer said he's going to sit me down and show me everything I need to know about Bristol.
Well, you might want to pick somebody that actually knew something about Bristol at one time.
Just wreck everybody. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're the only truck left.
You sound just like Jimmy Spencer.
Oh, I'll take that back then. That's the last thing I want to do.
If I approach Bristol the way Jimmy Spencer used to approach Bristol, think that'll give me a better chance?
They better put a bigger front bumper in your truck if you're going to do that.
Last thing, if I get in practice and need a couple extra tents, any way I can borrow those glasses?
Oh, of course. I'll have another set ready just for you.
2 tents on the white glasses. Here we come, Bristol.
Now, those guys simply weren't nice, but I'm excited about seeing Hermie Sadler behind the wheel. You're going to get in there and saw on that thing,
I look forward to it, man. We got a truck from Kevin Harvick. His guys helped us with it. And I only get to run a couple times a year. We're going to go have a good time, but really try to run good and get a good finish. It's for a great cause, and you'll find out about it on Wednesday.
And you know what? If you only can run a couple of races, you better wreck out a lot of other trucks.
Got to do it all.
All right, listen to Spencer. Good advice on there. We're going to take another quick break here on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. But when we come back, the bottom groove or the top groove? That is the question. Where do these drivers like to run at Michigan? Race fans from all over the North American continent have come to the Michigan International Speedway in the Irish Hills on this beautiful Sunday afternoon to watch NASCAR's finest do battle with a big, wide racetrack. And also now we have only 4 races to go before the chase. On the top of the heap right now, after a big win at Watkins Glen, is Smoke, Tony Stewart, as he can clinch a spot in the chase simply by taking the green flag today. But Kyle Busch is one of the guys on the outside looking in, and they are chasing him very closely to get in as well behind him. We have Brian Vickers, our pole sitter today, who will have the best view of the racetrack when the green flag waves. And don't forget about Richard Childress Racing's last hope, Clint Boyer and David Rudiman. Matt Kenseth still holds on to the last spot in the chase, and he must hold on to that today in the house that Roush built. We are just down the road from Roush Fenway's hub of Livonia, Michigan, and now we're going to get up in the race car with these 3 race car drivers and see how to get around this big, wide racetrack in the Irish Hills of Michigan. Drivers, strap in, hold on, let's go.
Well, here we are riding in the Home Depot and Joey Logano as he heads down into turn 1. When you heard Mark Martin talk, look at this, fans. Look at how wide this racetrack is.
And one thing I like to point out is his black stripes. It gets real hot. That is tar. You can slide across one of those black stripes there, Hermie Sadler.
And I tell you, a 2-mile racetrack, you would never think you could overdrive a corner, but you got to roll out of the throttle early, just like Joey did right there. Listen, he's back to the gas right there before you get to the middle of the corner, Jimmy.
And the big thing here, fans, no problems on pit road. Very big pit road right there. There's the opening. Now you're coming back, and you see how wide it is, as you saw yesterday in a nationwide race, where the 32 car pushes that 18 car down way below the yellow line, and then the 88 swings to the outside. It could happen again today, because this track warrants that type of racing, Johnny. All day, 2 and 3 wide racing.
Now, Tony Stewart told us throughout the weekend that this is a driver's racetrack because it's a place where you, as a driver, can help yourself by exploring different grooves.
Well, here's what I say. Where do you want to run? Because you can run anywhere. Look at this, race fans. 3 wide as they head into turn 1. Now, Jamie McMurray caught on the bottom. They will make him loose down there, but no, there's grip right down on the yellow line.
And I tell you, some of the drivers move around to try to find grip. But you take Juan Pablo Montoya, Brian Vickers, they enjoyed running at the top of the racetrack. They think it's better for them on a long run. So lots of different strategies riding in.
All right, so we talked about Mark Martin being one of these so-called bottom feeders. Let's now ride on the high groove with Junior.
Yeah, that's the thing, Johnny. Look at this. Look at the 88. You can't never get Junior out of that groove. He loves that high groove. And the thing is, why? I think Hermie and Kenny, they got so much more RPM coming off the corners.
They save tires too, Kenny.
And also another thing. When you go into the corner and you take the wheel and you turn it left and you want to go down, your car's got to be secure. A lot of guys ride high because they can't turn left because their car will get loose, so you just don't turn the wheel and run high.
Now, we see a lot of green flag pit stops during the course of this race, and we also see how fuel strategy plays out. But when it comes to a crew chief talking to a driver, Mark Martin said he did it through the whole race last time. How in the heck, as a driver, do you save fuel when somebody like, say, Greg Biffle is getting chased by Jimmy Johnson?
Well, you heard Hermie just say about stepping on that throttle. The key is that the longer you wait to pick the throttle up and the easier you are on the throttle, Hermie, you know what? The old smooth, the old egg underneath your foot, you will save fuel mileage.
You said it, Jimmy, earlier. Discipline is what it's all about.
And also, if you use the brakes, that burns gas. Harry Gant taught everybody that years ago. Let off the gas early, coast in, don't use any brakes. That will save a lot of gas.
Well, they say you should learn something new every day, and one way to learn something new about this new race car for NASCAR is to go to our Advanced Auto Parts virtual car. Want to play crew chief? Go to speedtv.com and enter keyword Advanced Auto. You can turn the wrenches and call the shots. Driver not included. And now our driver, Hermie Sadler, has made the quick transition down to technical expert, and he's going to talk to us about what powers the ignition in the race car.
Well, thank you, Gerald. We talk about how technical these race cars are, but they got to have a battery. They got to have power, just like your street car at home. In the summertime, not only the engine, but we're running fans for the drivers, air conditions, blowers on the brakes, blowers on the tires. They use the blowers on the tires to keep the air pressure down to actually make chassis adjustments on the car. So very important to have power. But they have power in a smaller battery. It's a 12-volt battery, just like you've got in your car at home, but it's smaller and weighs about half as much. Now, right here on our race car, this is where the battery will go. We'll carry 2 batteries. We've got a connector here, a quick connect. You can basically just push the battery in, plug it in, and you're going. In qualifying, you'll only use 1 battery. Why? Because this battery weighs about 22 pounds. For qualifying, we want to get more weight on the front of the car. So we'll take a battery out, use 1 battery. But when it comes time to race, we'll push this battery in forward, put our second battery in, and we'll have a backup. So if we ever have trouble on the racetrack with the battery, we unhook 1 battery, plug in the next, and get back on the racetrack without losing a lap. You got to have power to get up front, JR.
No question about that, Hermie Sadler, and that'd be a pretty good idea on the old passenger cars. You can keep a separate battery there and you'll never get stuck out on the road, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. When we come back, we're going to talk about a guy who has 6 poles so far this season, but not a win yet. Can he do it today? We'll have that answer for you on NASCAR Race Day.
Tick-tock, fellas. As the chase countdown continues, we'll look at the guys clinging to a spot, those on the outside looking in, and tell you who's gonna be smiling after Richmond. Around the turn, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Welcome back, everybody. The final lap here at Michigan can make your hair stand on end. It's been known to do that because we always see a lot of drama here in the Irish Hills of Michigan as times wind down. Now, the best way to put yourself in a position to win is to qualify well, and some of the chase contenders and the guys trying to get in the chase did not qualify well on Friday. Let's take a look at the number 18 of Kyle Busch. Qualified 39th, and Spence, that puts him in the back of the pack.
Yeah, it really does, and he has not had a good success rate here at Michigan, and I'll tell you what, guys, he's in for a long day today.
And the next car, this guy is dominant here. He always runs up front. He won this race. It's Carl Edwards. He qualifies 32nd.
I'm hoping that wreck yesterday didn't affect him, but you know what? Here's a guy, incredible. He has a shot of winning this race. Again, what race doesn't he have a shot of winning? But you know what? He has not won yet at Michigan, but he will start 4th today in the Lowe's car.
And this next guy is a breath of fresh air. He says, I have to be very consistent because he is from Bogota, Colombia. He qualifies 3rd. Juan Pablo Montoya. And I like it, his 3 names. Now, this guy
has
Mark,
4 names.
Mark the Kid Martin from Batesville, Arkansas. He starts front row outside. He is 2nd.
Now, here's a guy, this is this guy's 6th pole of the year. Brian Vickers in the Red Bull Toyota, another pole. This guy has got consistently run here in the top 10. Can he close the deal? In my opinion, he can prove it today to me. If he can bring this Red Bull into victory, he will help himself secure a spot in the chase.
And no better way than to get a victory, because as the pole sitter, he has a chance to get right out and lead 1 lap for 5 bonus points. If he can stay out front, get 10 bonus points for leading the most laps. And then, of course, the win is the thing you want in the end.
Think back, this track fits this guy's style. You think back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. He runs that high groove, should have won Charlotte. He runs the high groove here. Johnny, he'll be a factor today running that high groove. There's no doubt. He'll be tough.
And now this is 3 races in a row that Brian Vickers has led us to the green flag, and he is standing by with Wendy Venturini. Wendy?
Thank you, Johnny. The drivers' meeting just now letting out Brian Vickers joining us on race day. I got to get the obvious question out of the way. The nationwide race yesterday. Do you think anything, are you worried about anything happening today of anything of a result of what happened yesterday with Kyle Busch?
I don't know. There's no telling what he's going to do. There never is. But You know, listen, just like yesterday, just like today, like moving forward with anybody I race with, I race people the way they race me. I mean, it was a hard race for the win. I wouldn't expect anyone else to race me any different if the role was reversed. I was trying to win the race. My job was not to let him win the race. I didn't care if I couldn't win. I don't really care if he wins or the 88 wins. I'm proud of the 88. He made a good move. Good for him. You know, I'm frustrated we didn't win. We had a great car. We were really loose there at the end, trying to hold on to it. But, you know, it worked out the way it worked out. Today, I'm just going to go race our race. We have a great car today. And, you know, I'm going to race him the way he races me.
And now I can move forward, talk about that pole, the 6th one of the season, 3rd one straight here at Michigan. And I'm going to seriously start calling you Rocket Man any day now, because you are knocking out these poles. You know a thing or two about starting up front. How important is that here at Michigan?
It's very important here in Michigan. I mean, I think it's important anywhere, but here at Michigan, the first pit stall is of all the pit stalls we go, all the racetracks we go to, it's the closest to the pit outline, the scoring line, which is very important. So it's a huge advantage to be in that stall here. Track position is always important as far as the racing itself, being ahead of any potential incidents, and also just having clean air.
Now, you made up 98 points in 5 races. We have 4 races to the chase cutoff. You have 96 more points to go. So the odds are in your favor of making it, but right on the brink. What do you think about gaining points every week for the next 4 weeks? How difficult is this, and how stressful is it?
It's not going to be easy. You know, the most important race is the next one, and that's today. That's where our focus is. We would love to go out there and win this race. I think we're capable of it. But right now, we got to focus on points. We can't take any unnecessary risk for a win that could jeopardize a great points day, and that's kind of where our head's at. We know we're capable of it, but there's no guarantees in this sport. It can change on a dime, so we're just going to go out there and do our best.
All right, good luck to Brian Vickers, who he has yet to make the chase. Right now, he will start on that pole, as we mentioned, and was second in happy hour, so it's a race trim package just as good for the qualifying trim. Johnny?
Wendy, thanks a lot. A lot of eyes on Brian Vickers. He's one of those drivers who has a chance to break into the top 12, but if he's going to break in, somebody's got to fall out. And a lot of that can unfold today on the big, wide racetrack at Michigan. Back with more on NASCAR Race Day in a moment.
Yeah, this is my house right here. We ran really, really well over the last 7, 8 years here.
After last week's triumph padded Smoke's lead, Wendy peeks inside Stewart Haas's humble abode to track the 14's rise to the top.
We know we have to provide the equipment for him to go out there and do what he can do, and he shows us that every week. He's able to step his game up anytime he needs to go out there and perform, and he's done a great job for us being able to keep that car up front.
Heading your way, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Programs, $12. $12 for a program today, but my, how times changed. When Spencer first started racing here, the program was only $1, and they ran the Yankee 600, and that was actually a rain-shortened race back in the day on that particular Sunday. Now, the great thing about coming here up to the Michigan International Speedway is you not only do you get one, but you get 2 national anthems, the Canadian and the United States national anthem, and the guy who has the honor of singing one of those is standing by with Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, JR, and got RCA recording artist Chris Young. First of all, welcome to Michigan. I know you're somewhat of a race fan, got a couple favorites, and looking forward to today.
Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to the race. I was telling you, I grew up watching, NASCAR races with my dad, and I've got a chance to do a couple of them. I've never been here in Michigan before, so I'm excited to be here.
And regardless of whatever else you accomplish in your career, I told you, I called Blake Shelton yesterday, and he gave his seal of approval, so you feel like you've made it now, I'm sure.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, it's Blake. I love him to death, though. He's a really good guy, and I'm glad he said good things. He lied just like I told him to.
Well, good for him. And they got 2 national anthems today, the Canadian national anthem and the American one. I think I'll let you do the Canadian one, and I'm going to do the American one. Listen. Oh, say, can you see?
How
about it?
It's perfect. It's perfect. I'll do the Canadian one.
Yeah, you do that. That'll be.
I'll be reading it off a sheet of paper, but I'll do it.
Well, we got to do what we got to do to get by. But listen, you were out with Martina McBride earlier, and you got some dates coming up with Tim McGraw. Where can fans go and find out how to catch up with you on the road?
Man, if they want to find out anything about me, they can go to chrisyoungcountry.com. That's my website, and we got a new album coming out September 1st called The Man I Want to Be, so they should go pick that up too.
We appreciate you being here. by the dawn's early light.
Stop it, Hermie. Stick to
Was
driving and talking. That's usually it's Kenny Wallace that is singing to us. That's bad.
Yeah, but I'm
Okay, can we
proud
move
to
on
say
now?
Hermie is proud to be an American.
And so is everybody else out here with us.
I love it, Hermie. Yeah.
Liking that a lot.
I'm proud to be an American.
I like Hermie's new nickname, Hermalicious.
All right. And on that note, let's move along to this subject, which is kind of equally disturbing. If Rutledge Wood is in your dreams, we may need to talk after the show, but Rutledge Wood's dream is old cars. He loves them, and he got his dream come true as he participated in the Woodward Dream Cruise here in Detroit.
So we're showing you something a little different today on race day. We are in downtown Detroit for the Woodward Dream Cruise. Over 1 million people line one road just to watch everybody cruise. You're going to see every make, every model, and every walk of life down here just because they love cars like us. Let's get cruising. You've been wondering where all your old computer parts went. We found exactly where they ended up. Yeah, rocking the Corvair. Chop top, long bed Chevy truck. You're not going to see those every day. 1.21 gigawatts. Hi guys, how y'all doing? Well, that's my kind of ride right there. I think that's my grandfather. 31 Chevy, stretched it. Custom frame, custom everything. That's awesome. A great view. You can see everything from here. Is there room for two?
Come on, babe.
Is there room for two? So, what do you love so much about the Dream Cruise?
Oh, I love all these old cars. Beautiful.
Meeting new friends?
All friends, yes.
You like ice cream?
Love it.
Let's get out of here.
Come on, baby.
Me and you. Now, you may not see any NASCAR drivers here today, but you will find some of the world's best. And one of those, Vaughn Gittin Jr., professional drifter. What do you think of Woodward, man?
Dude, this is, it's Candyland for any car guy. You know, I'm obviously here, we're Mustang Alley, but you got the Woodward, seriously, pull up a chair, grab a cold one, and there was just every car you've ever wanted to see or dreamed of seeing going down the road. It's unbelievable.
If you come to the Woodward Dream Cruise, and I hope you do, get a convertible, because this is so fun with the top down. What's up? We're gonna hang with them later.
Now, Rutledge knows his cars, and we can guarantee you he was like a kid in a candy store, not only driving that Ford Mustang, but seeing all those great classic old cars. What a treat it is to see that old machinery on the road there up in Detroit. Next weekend on Speed, NASCAR's Race to the Chase takes a treacherous turn through Thunder Valley, and nobody brings the action to you like Speed. Coverage from Bristol begins Friday morning at 10 Eastern with NASCAR Live. NASCAR on Speed, as your colleague, we advise you, be there. So let's now take a look at the best. After 22 of the 36 races, you're never really safe in the chase until you're mathematically locked in, and that will happen to Tony Stewart today. Johnson, Gordon, Busch, and Hamlin are looking very good, but once again, anything can happen with 4 more races to go before the cutoff. Now, Tony Stewart started this season out fulfilling a dream of his own, and that was to be a Sprint Cup team owner. He formed Stewart-Haas Racing, and as we go now to Wendy Venturini, Wendy, you wouldn't think at the beginning of this year that Tony would be this dominant. We knew he was going to be good, but perhaps not this dominant.
And who are the people behind that dominant driver, Tony Stewart? Well, Darian Grubb, the crew chief, has 3 wins since he's hopped on board at Stewart-Haas Racing. And in his history, he's won with every driver he's worked with in the Cup Series, including Jimmy Johnson and Casey Mears. Another man behind the scenes, Bobby Hutchins, the director of competition at Stewart-Haas Racing. Now, Bobby was with RCR back in the day 20 years ago with Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s crew. Together, these 2 gentlemen are the force, or part of that force, behind Tony Stewart and the victories they've had. Keep in mind, the 14 car will clinch the spot for the Chase Championship by starting today's race at Michigan. We decided to check in with the boys. Here is our look at this week's Real Deal. Me and my big hair went over to Stewart-Haas Racing. Check it out.
It is
is a Monday afternoon drive in the Finger Lakes region of New York for Tony Stewart. Here he comes, the crowd on their feet. They're cheering the Office Depot Old Spice Chevrolet to victory lane.
First off, gentlemen, congratulations on another win. Did you ever think you would have this much success this quickly?
We weren't really planning to have this much success, but just a lot of hard work has gone into it. The entire Stewart Haas organization has worked really hard ever since about last October, gearing up for this, so it's nice to see the fruits of that labor paying off.
Came quickly then.
From my perspective, I thought we'd have success, maybe not quite this early in the amount that we've had. I mean, I think we've kind of over-exceeded some of our expectations slightly, but we always thought that we'd be in the championship chase from the beginning, and hopefully we will be here.
I can't imagine that when you guys sat down before the start of the season that you wrote goals that included a win at a triangle, a win at a speedway, a win at a road course, oh yeah, the biggest non-points paying race of the year, and lead the points for the majority of the season. That's a lot to accomplish. You're making it look easy.
It's not really easy. We're very fortunate and very lucky to be in that position, but our goals coming into the season was to be able to compete for wins. We actually didn't even expect to win. We were expecting to be fighting for it, get top 10s, get top 5s, and just keep progressing towards that, and then have a chance to be in a chase and have a chance at championship.
And it's not as easy as it looks.
It's not as easy, but the biggest thing we've tried to have is fun from the first day we walked in the door, and everybody here gets along. There's no egos. We get to the racetrack, we have fun all weekend. You mentioned the word momentum. We've steadily, as the years progressed, built momentum, and hopefully we haven't peaked yet. That's the little thing I'm worried about. I hope we peak a little later in the chase, but right now we're definitely headed in the right direction.
And the points lead for Tony Stewart continues to be extended. What a day for Smoke here, getting his 3rd win of the 2009 season.
Now you both realize that any time Tony Stewart has led the points, he's never relinquished that lead, and he's gone on to win the championship the 2 times he has led the points in 02 and 05. No pressure, though, right?
No, I honestly didn't know that stat, but
it's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It is. I mean, when you see his past performance, places like Watkins Glen, like this past weekend, you are the man, Mr. Stewart. There's a lot of pressure going into that. We know we have to provide the equipment for him to go out there and do what he can do. And he shows us that every week. He's able to step his game up anytime he needs to go out there and perform, and he's done a great job for us being able to keep that car up front.
I do have to say this is the earliest he's ever led the points in the 2 times that he's led the points.
I have heard that stat, but I hadn't heard the other one, so I guess there is a little pressure, but we're going to have fun with it and keep doing what we did the first race, just like we're doing it this week, and that's been our main focus, I think, is take them one at a time, and that's what we'll do up to the chase and through the chase.
Now, a few weeks ago, our own Jimmy Spencer was raving about you, Darian, and how you're the greatest crew chief in the garage area.
I think this guy is quickly becoming the most respected guy in that garage area. You're going to see a lot out of Darian Grubb. No question, he's one of the best, if not the best, right now in the sport.
That's nice to hear, but honestly, I take a very humble role in that because I don't claim to have all the success for this team. It's all the people here. There's 150 people here that all put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. It's all their families supporting behind them, all the travel we do and everything else. I'm glad to be an organizer of that and be able to sit back and kind of push the people where they need to be pushed, but those guys are the ones that do all it. They deserve all the credit.
A lot of fun, a lot of wins. Does this put more pressure on that chase when we do get to that point? Is it championship or bust?
No, it's not. I think we can say this has been a successful season either way. Going out there and proving what we have been able to accomplish this season and building into the strong organization we are, we want to take that next step. We want to win that championship, but if we don't, it's not going to be a season of waste. We definitely have built an organization here that we can carry on with. We know we are championship contenders now.
And those aren't the only guys behind the force of their wins and their domination this season. Of course, it goes on down to their car chief, Jeff Mendering, and the rest of the 14 crew. I have to say I'm benefiting from all these wins from Tony Stewart at Stewart Haas Racing because their car chief buys dinner on Mondays anytime they win, and I am really liking that. My wallet likes all the victories by Tony Stewart, and his car chief, his wallet's getting a little bit more empty. Johnny?
And Wedley, let's not forget they have a heck of a driver behind the wheel of that 14 car as well. And good luck continuing for those guys throughout the rest of this season and the chase as well. Now, he is locked into the chase. And now what is the strategy? Who better to ask than Booty Barker as he brings us the good stuff?
You know, I've been posed a question this week as to whether the 14 teams should give their guys a little time off heading into the chase. And for your good stuff, I'm going to give you the answer. Absolutely not. And here's a few reasons why. If you gave them boys a time off, and I should know, because the majority of them worked with me last year, a few of them are going to just go home, take it easy with your wife and kids, lay low, get a little rest. But then you got a few bad apples. Take Hot Sauce for one, a shock engineer. If you gave that boy some time off, next time you see him is in Cabo Wabo on a Dudes Gone Wild video. And then you got Haggerty, Super Yank. He's going to go back up north with the Delango boys, liable to burn a village down. You can't let that man get out of your sight. And at the very least, when you get them back, most all of them are going to be dehydrated, and a few of them are going to end up in the pokey. Then you got Darian Grubb. He's done a masterful job this year, leading the points, winning races. And if I was in his shoes, would I change anything? Absolutely not, because he's got Big Mo on his side, momentum, and that's something you just can't buy. And any one of them boys is worth their salt. If you ask them what vacation they want to take, it'll be the one in Las Vegas at the awards banquet at the end of the year. And that, my friends, is your Napa good stuff.
Brody Barker, thanks again. Good stuff as always. So what is the strategy now for the number 14? You got to keep digging, even though they're locked in. If they stop now, they'll lose the Big Mo.
This is not the right thing to say, but you know I don't care.
That's never stopped you before.
Never. This team reminds me of 15 years ago. This reminds me of the old Dale Earnhardt, Richard Childress organization. I was over the shop not long ago. What a pleasure to walk through that shop and see all those guys working hard, getting along. The thing I think that they have the advantage over everybody, the stress level in that organization is nowhere near what it is in other organizations, Kenny. I think this is why these Bobby Hutchinson, he knows, he's a racer, Darian Grubb, Tony Stewart. When I see these guys, I absolutely said to myself, what a pleasure to go over there.
Well, one thing I want to say, what you just said, Bobby Hutchins, he is like the general manager over there. He, makes sure everybody's happy. He's almost like the human resources guy. What's your problem? How can I fix it? What do we got to do with the chassis? That is very important. Their strategy from here on out is to keep going. Don't peak too early. Now remember, and JR, you're a big college guy. Teams cannot peak and then fall. Their strategy is to stay up, 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 and don't go up and then down. Stay up. That's their strategy.
Now, this is one of the tightest battles ever to get into the chase, the race for the chase, as they like to call it. And if you don't think it's important to be in the chase, watch the way some of these contenders race out on the track today, because time is running out for the cutoff for the chase.
At Watkins Glen, it was business as usual for the top 6, led by Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart wins at Watkins Glen.
You are the man, Mr. Stewart.
Smoke extended his lead to 260 points over second place Jimmy Johnson and has all but clinched a spot in the chase.
What a day for Smoke here, getting his 3rd win of the 2009 season.
For some, a successful road course run furthered their championship chances.
Take your step and ride, dude. Looking good.
Juan Pablo Montoya continues his hot summer.
No changes, 4 tires of fuel for the 42 car. They're making their way through the field to the front.
Finishing 6th and moving up a notch to 7th in the chase standings.
Good to the end. Good to the end. No green, white checker. Go like you need to. You can go like you need to is what I'm trying to tell you.
Greg Biffle's first top 5 at the Glen jumped him 2 spots to 10th.
The guys did a great job. Good pit strategy, and our engine ran really good.
And Kyle Busch finished 4th, now just 58 points from the transfer spot.
You know what we're trying to do here, bud. Don't need to do anything more than what you've been doing all day. Just big picture.
For others on the bubble, or those trying to stay in, everything was ventured and nothing gained.
Got a crash on the racetrack, the 39 car, Ryan Newman going around, contact with Patrick Carpentier.
Ryan Newman and David Rudiman both finished outside the top 20, yet held on to their place in line. They run 9th and 16th on the leaderboard and are losing valuable points and time heading into the final 4 of the regular season.
Watch the 20 car, the rookie Joey Logano, right in front of Rudiman.
Trouble off of turn number 9. Several cars have gotten together in a huge crash.
Dang it, I got loose. I just shot him off track with the back of my car.
Casey Kane, Mark Martin, and Matt Kenseth are running 8th, 11th, and 12th, respectively, and have all dropped a spot after the Glen.
Matt Kenseth from 42nd starting spot, now being shown 14th.
Who was it said Matt Kenseth won the road race?
He's trying to hang on to 12th position in the point standings to be able to get in that chase again this year.
Now, a slim 69 points separate the last 5 spots in chase contention, and no one is safe with the cutoff looming. There's plenty of talent on the bubble, ready to turn the page here in Michigan.
Here are the drivers in the hot seat, positions 6 through 16, and here's the way the numbers look. Greg Biffle in by 91, Mark Martin in by 89. Matt Kenseth has hold of the last spot. Kyle Busch, a mere 58 points out, and Brian Vickers, our pole sitter for today, is 96 points out of the chase as for right now. Now it is time to put our expert staff to the test here, and not only are we going to ask them who's in, but more importantly, we're going to ask our guys who is out of the chase when it comes time to set up the last 10 races towards the championship. And we start out with you, Hermie Sadler. Who do you think's out?
Well, here's my people that are out. Rudiman, Vickers, Boyer, and Matt Kenseth will not make the chase this year, in my opinion. Who will take the place of him? In my opinion, Kyle Busch will get it done and get in the chase. Now, I know that may not be a popular choice with the fans, but I'm not judging on attitudes of what somebody's like out of the car. I'm judging on what they are like in the car. I think Kyle Busch will win one of the next 4 races and go into the chase, tied for the point lead or maybe first or second. Wendy?
I agree with Hermie, except one person. The people I think are out are David Rudiman. Clint Boyer is also out. I have to say, take Brian Vickers out. Sorry, my friend. And also the change from what Hermie was just saying, I think Kyle Busch will be out. Kyle Busch is out. That's exactly how the points remain today going into Michigan. And as Hermie was just saying, he looks at what Kyle's doing in the car. I was listening to what Kyle was doing in the car yesterday. I didn't like the radio communication between he and crew chief Steve Addington. He's a very emotional driver and he has a lot of passion, but I'm not sure if he has enough time to get into to get the finishes that he needs, but you never know. Johnny? No, we're going to Jimmy.
The 17 car sitting there, he's a sitting duck. No, that's a tenacious rascal. You will not bet against Matt Kenseth. He will get in. I don't think Rudiman's got a shot. Vickers on the edge here, I don't believe so. Ryan Newman's gonna slip here and fall out of it. Really? And Kyle Busch, they're changing Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch, he's not gonna make the chase, fans. I don't believe Kyle Busch can make the chase. Clint Boyer's going to get in, and I'm going to tell you why. Richard Childress, grunt down, grit it, baby. Boyer last week proved to me Kenny Wallace. I believe he's going to get in.
And Mark Martin, you cannot shake Mark Martin. He is in 11th. Mac the Brat Kenseth is in 12th. But here's what I say to rattle things up a little bit. I think Rudiman's out. Of course, I think Brian Vickers is out. And here's the big stunner. Ryan Newman is out, and Greg Biffle is out. I base a lot of this on the Biff is out. And the reason is we got some short tracks coming up, and I don't understand what's going on here lately, but Biff is really inconsistent. I think who's going to be in is I think RCR is going to rally. I think Clint Boyer is going to be in along with Kyle Busch.
All right, the opinions expressed by panelists on this show are not necessarily.
Where's your opinion, Johnny?
I'm scared. I can't do it. I'm not going to go there.
We're out of time.
I at least know that much not to go there.
That's a good one.
When we come back, we will see who will end their fantasy futility. Will it be Jimmy Spencer or Hermie first? Picks coming up. Well, if you're with us just a moment ago, we made predictions about who is going to fall out of the chase for the Sprint Cup this year. Now, as you take a look at the standings here for fantasy picks, that'll give you an idea of who to believe and who not to believe with other predictions that have happened so far in this program. Right now, Kenna Wallace is on top with 3,258 points. He stayed, and Hermie is out of the cellar. How about Mr. Excitement dropping to the back, and old Johnny TV is hanging in there.
I got you right where I want you.
Where you want what? Anyway, let's go to Kenny.
Hello, I am the king for today. No, I'm sorry. I'm the St. Louis Cardinal 10-time world champion guy.
God.
Sorry, Detroit. This is the guy that will win the race today. It is Brian Vickers. And why? He's won everything. He sat on the pole in the Nationwide Series. He is sitting on the pole. I wonder if they give you a pole. They should start just giving you a pole when you sit on the pole, you know, instead of a trophy.
That wouldn't be comfortable.
And he also dominated yesterday. So how can you not pick Brian Vickers? Wendy Venturini, you good-looking lady.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that, Kenny. The hat, so that they have to go. Okay, here's who I am going with. It's been 78 races since his last win. 2007 was the last time he was in victory lane. And who is going to be there today? It's going to be Juan Pablo Montoya. He's going for wins. He's got a lot of points.
Are we picking Juan Pablo Montoya?
I am picking Juan Pablo Montoya.
Are you going to change your mind before the end of the show?
No. Women never do that.
So you're going to pick Juan Pablo Montoya and stick with him?
There's a method to my madness.
And who did you dump to pick Juan Pablo?
I have 3 championships. Do you know this, Hermie? Ha! Johnny.
Well, Wendy, you know, if headgear is all about what it is, what it's all about for Ken Wallace, I want to tell you with headgear who my pick is. Joey Logano, the fastest out of the 3 Joe Gibbs racing cars. He sports the right colors on the racetrack. This kid is figuring it out fast, and also he's got a great crew chief behind him in Greg Zipadelli. So Joey Logano wins today with a little bit of strategy and a lot of great driving.
Hey, don't say that, Jimmy Spencer. It's my turn to pick. I'm not in last place. I'm picking Kurt Busch. Hey, anymore is right, but I'm in 4th place. I'm in the top 5, but Kurt Busch will win today. Why? Because he can afford to gamble. He's locked into the chase as far as I'm concerned.
He's not going to win.
He's
not going to win, Hermie.
Wendy?
Kurt Busch,
I love you, but
this is my time
to shine.
For Hermie's sake,
This is my time to shine. Kurt Busch will win, and I will move up another spot in the chase. Jimmy?
Wow, that's a lot to gain, 100 points on John.
Hey, you're on TV.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I'll tell you who I'm picking today. I thank the good Lord that this guy finally got a little gumption and said what he wanted to say, and everybody in the garage area wants to talk, but this guy spoke his mind. Thanks, Dale Jr., for telling it the way it is, and you're going to win this race today, and I'm going to tell you why. You have nothing to lose. You'll get this thing figured out. You're too damn good a race car driver, buddy. I'm not selling you down the road. I'm sticking behind you. Junior will win today.
And you're sucking up to the fans, too, along the way.
I love the fans.
That's good. There's nothing wrong with that.
The fans is what makes our sport.
Let's take another quick look at who has picked whom so far today in our fantasy picks. And Spencer, you need a win because you are winless so far. So is Hermie Sadler. They got the 88
How much
to
is
2,
this
20,
if you
42.
win this championship?
Nothing.
Oh.
It's pride. It's all pride on the line.
Play for free.
Here today. Well, when it comes to pit strategy, you need fuel at this racetrack, and you need a lot at the end if you're going to hold off the competitors. So who better to go to rather for our Sunoco pit strategy of the weekend other than crew chief Chad Knaus.
So we're back in Michigan again this weekend, guys, and everybody seems to think this track changes an awful lot from the spring race to what we call the fall race, even though it's only been about a month and a half. But quite frankly, it does not change that much. The thing that you really see the change in is your practice times. It's a little bit cooler in the morning than what we have in the afternoons here, so you go a lot faster in the morning, so it makes it a little bit difficult to associate with what you're going to have during actual track time in the race. So it's a little bit tricky right there. Now, very honestly, it's going to be the same story, different racetrack. Very similar to last week, fuel mileage is going to be very, very critical, and you're going to have to be on top of your game, otherwise you're not going to be where you need to be at the end of the race. You're going to see a lot of 2-tire stops if you have a short green flag run and a caution fall right after that, so it's going to get a little jumbled up, but I can promise you track position and good fuel mileage is going to be the key to winning this race.
Chad, thanks. And you know what? Why did none of us pick Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, or Jimmy Johnson?
Jimmy Johnson's never won here today, but don't count it out, John.
Not very smart. Okay, it's the 5th year of the Sunoco Free Fuel 5000 exclusively at Sunoco. It's easy to participate. Visit any participating Sunoco station, pick up a free Sunoco decal, put it in a prominent location on your car, and visit Sunoco stations on a regular basis for a chance to be spotted. For more information, visit GoSunoco.com. And when we come back, we will have a final word on this big racetrack at Michigan on NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. Visit HomeDepot.com. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Brought to you in part by Cheerios, good for the heart.
Next week, the fastest 43 head to the fastest half mile. And a race in Thunder Valley always gets tempers boiling. With the chase right around the corner, cooler heads must prevail. Who keeps their emotions in check and tastes victory? Live from Bristol, under the lights. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Welcome back to NASCAR Race Day. We are counting down to the start of this Sunday race, something we haven't had in a couple of weeks. And as these drivers are getting geared up, we're going to check in with one of them right before then, Juan Pablo Montoya, with his crew chief, Brian Patty. Now, Juan, I'm sure you just saw that I picked you guys to win this race, so can you do it today and get some good, consistent finish?
Consistent finish, right there. You know, everybody at Target Chevy doing an amazing job this year, you know, and we just got to keep it rolling. You know, it's all about keep the ball rolling. It's only 4 races to go. You know, we just got to finish the races here. We got a really fast car. At least in practice and qualifying, it's been really fast. And we got to use it well, be smart about it. And, you know, if you got a clear chance of winning, you're going to take the win. If not, you know, best finish you can.
Top line or bottom line for you?
What do you think?
Top line.
Oh, yeah, all the way.
All right, let's talk to Brian. Brian, how do you adjust on this race car? We know Juan likes that top line, and the racetrack can move around. There's a lot of room here at Michigan. How do you pick out your strategy for this kind of race?
Strategy, just stay up front. You know, a single-digit finish would be huge for us right now. So track position's pretty critical here, and we're getting really good mileage with our ACR engine. So you know, we have a couple things going on, but still, you just got a big picture.
Pressure, yes or no?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Yes.
What do you say?
Plenty. No, it's always a lot of pressure because a lot of things can go wrong. You know, we gotta do what we can, like what is in our power to do it well. And if somebody wrecks and takes us out, it can happen. But you know what we can do, we gotta be smart about it, and that's what we've been doing.
All right, good luck. Go be like Superman, jump in the fire suit, and get to victory lane so I can gain 10 bonus points. Hermie.
Wendy, when you talk about Michigan, listen to these stats: 29 top 10s and 7 victories for Bill Haley. I know you always enjoy coming to these racetracks. A lot of stuff has changed, but it's good to see the Wood brothers back being competitive, a good qualifying run, and you guys have been solid all weekend.
You know, that's the thing about it. I think since Charlotte, we've turned things around a pretty good bit. I mean, granted, we ain't in the, you know, hunting for the top 5 or whatever, but we've come a long way. I think David Hyder, Lynn and Eddie, and all of us have turned around and got good communication between us. We've kind of turned the corner on getting things better. I mean, today's a whole different deal. We're a little bit different than we were here last race. You know, hopefully we've gone in the right direction, but that's a bad thing about being a single entity versus multi-car deals is, you know, most of those guys can go down those roads. You know, they've got, you know, take Hendricks or Roush or Gibbs or any of those guys, they've got multiple deals to fall back on. They can look back from the last race, take all the notes from all the teams, you know, come up with a logical deal when they unload here this weekend. I know everybody keeps going over that, but it is such a big deal, especially when you're going out and trying to learn everything you can with a single entity and an hour and a half practice, and being so far in the back puts you at a negative every time you go out. But we're looking forward this weekend. We got a new look today. We got a blue car by the color of your shirt with quick lane on the side of it. Motorcraft and Steel Ford still helping us out, and they're a big part of this deal and what makes this thing go round and round.
And real quick before we go, what would you leave with today and say this was a good day for us?
Being competitive. I mean, if we can be there and be competitive and run with the team, run with the multi-car teams, you know, as we did here the last race here, I mean, that's when we can walk out of here with our heads up and say, hey, man, we've had a great day.
And JR, listen, we got another Elliott coming through the ranks. His son Chase already winning races in crate late models in the Southeast. Could be carrying that name on for years to come. You never know.
Hermie, that's great to hear. Let's quick check some of the top storylines of the day for the 6th time this season and 3rd time in a row here at Michigan. Brian Vickers will lead us to the green flag. Last time we raced here in June, it was Mark Martin who had enough fuel to finish it out after a long day's chess match. Tony Stewart won last week on the road course at Watkins Glen, and now he leads the championship standings, and Smoke must just take the green flag today to be locked in to chase contentions. 1 through 5 looks like this: Stewart, Johnson, Gordon Bush, and Denny Hamlin. These guys pretty much a lock to make this chase, but anything can and will happen with 4 races to go. And gentlemen, we have not talked about it that much today, but it is still very important. Do we see a Ford, a Chevy, a Toyota, or a Dodge in victory lane today?
Toyota's never won at this racetrack. It will be interesting, but Vickers on the pole, Kenny. They could be their first win ever here at Michigan.
I mean, Jack Roush puts so much effort into this. He's got a lot of bullets. Look for a Ford to go to victory lane, maybe.
Do we see fuel mileage again being the deciding factor?
I hope not, Johnny. I think it sucks when a race comes down to fuel mileage. Throw a caution with 25 to go, NASCAR. Let him put 4 new shoes on, fill them full of fuel, Sunoco, and let's get this thing going.
Caution with 3 to go.
Why not? Maybe that will happen. You just never know, but stick around to the end here at Michigan, folks. You don't want to miss a single lap today. Want to thank everybody for coming along for the ride, all the great fans out here at Michigan, and remind you tonight on Speed, it's NASCAR Victory Lane.